Hi there, my name is Will, and today I'm going to show you how you can use dbt with Kestra to be able to perform that transformation after we've done the extract and load. Now, dbt is going to be covered in way more detail in a later week of the Data Engineering Zoomcamp, but I want to give you a quick glimpse of how dbt works inside of Kestra to help automate everything. What we've been doing previously is extracting our data from GitHub. We've been then sort of transforming it in SQL queries and then loading it into a final table. Whereas what we're going to do with dbt, we're going to extract the data from GitHub, we're going to load it straight into a table, and then we're going to perform transformations on it properly to be able to really understand what's going on within the data. Because really all we've been doing so far is extracting it and loading it in. We've done nothing else really with it. So I'm going to show you how dbt allows us to go through the data and transform it. Jumping into PG admin, I have got both green trip data and yellow trip data. Now I've got this for the first 3 months of 2019. Now if we go into Kestra, I have a Postgres dbt workflow already set up. Now what you can see here is we can pass different dbt commands in here to get it to work. Now in week 4 of the Zoomcamp, you'll find that there is all sorts of information on analytics engineering. And this is where we'll find information about dbt. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to pull from that analytics folder and we're going to get the dbt project that you'll use there, but we're going to have Kestra do it all for us. So we're going to clone the repository and get what we need from that. And then we're going to use the dbt CLI task here to be able to actually perform dbt. And so you'll see that dbt is all set up to go, and we've got it connected to our Postgres database that has that data inside of it. So we're going to use this Git repository here, which as you can see has a bunch of things for week 4. So here's a nice diagram to help you understand what's going on. We're going to take that data that we've got in our Postgres database, and then we're going to perform the transformation with dbt to help simplify things and allow us to do multiple things at once. And then once after that, we can then pump that into an analytics tool to really get into it. Now, we won't do all of that right now. We'll just use dbt to get the data in a good format. So let's have a look at that. And this Git repository, as you can see, has all the dbt files that we need. So when I go into the workflow, we're going to first of all sync the file from that repository, specifically from the taxi rides NY folder, which is what I'm in. So we can then start to use that to set up our dbt project, which will tell us exactly what we're trying to do, SQL commands that should run, and vice versa. And now what I need to do here is just make sure that I have my Postgres database set up correctly. So this is the same one we've already been using that has data that we've produced, and we can see that that's all looking good. So the only other thing to double check is that the environment variables up here are correct, so dbt will talk to those. So let's press execute, and what we'll see is it's going to start to get those files so we can start to use them. Then it's going to start to build with dbt build. So we'll come back in a little bit once it's done this, but you'll see that if I refresh here, we can see that it's already starting to make new tables with data that hasn't quite existed yet. So let's come back in a little bit and we'll see what it produces. So as you can see here, dbt has run everything that we needed it to. We can see that it's produced all of the different data. So now let's go over to our table and we can see that it's done a lot of that transformation for us. I can have a quick view inside of here and we can see that now we've got a much better view of the data, right? This is much more useful to us than what we got from those raw CSV files. Here we can see different areas inside of New York. I can have a look at this other one too. And here again, much more useful to us than that original file. So as you can see, only 75 rows. What was the other one? 265. Let's have a look at the next one. And we'll get the taxi zones as well. So here we've got this one again, very useful. Again, this one, much more useful. And so later on in the course, you'll learn a little bit more about how you can visualize this with graphs and visualizations to make this data even easier to spot trends and patterns. Hopefully you found that useful, and this is a sort of a sneak peek of what you can do with dbt in the later weeks. We'll have a separate video on how you can use dbt with BigQuery as well, following our examples that we produced in BigQuery, so stay tuned for that.